Imagine being all set for a nice vacation, bags packed, spirits high, and you arrive at the airport for check-in like you've done 100 times, but this time you're told that you won't be boarding the flight and that you won't ever get to your final destination of Mexico. Well, for Jesse and I, this is exactly what happened to us last week when we tried to board our flight from Portland, Oregon to San Jose del Cabo, Mexico. We were told that no airline would let us fly into Mexico, and we even went to the Mexican consulate and were told that we wouldn't be getting into the country no matter what we did. So, why were we denied entry and told to go back home? Well, stick around for today's video and we'll tell you why, because it's possible that you may find yourself in this position in the future. So, my sister is getting married in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, and we've had this vacation booked for a while now. We showed up at Portland International Airport with my brother and sister-in-law, and they were quickly checked in. However, when Jesse and I went to check in, this is where the problem started. We were flying Delta Airlines, and after handing our passports over to the Delta representative, she then asked my wife Jessie, who is Brazilian, if she had a visa. Now, as of 2022, apparently Brazilians do need a visa to enter Mexico. However, we weren't worried as Jessie is a legal green card holder, and if you're a green card holder of the USA, Canada, or have a visa to Japan, you can enter Mexico with no problems at all. But this is where the unique problem was. You see, in order to understand why we were denied, I'll give you a quick lesson on how the green card process works for those who don't know. So, when Jesse and I got married, we had to go through a lengthy process to get a green card and prove that our marriage was real. We successfully went through that process like thousands of others do every single year, and Jesse received a 2-year green card. Now, after 2 years, you have to show that you're still married and then can apply for a 10-year green card. So, after 2 years of marriage, we went through the process and applied for a 10-year green card. Now, because U.S. immigration is so backed up, they don't issue the physical 10-year green card for quite a long time, ranging anywhere from 12 to 24 months before you actually receive it in the mail. So, in the meantime, what they do is mail you an official document called an I-797 document extending the validity of your current expired green card for 2 more years. This document, paired with the original green card, is legally recognized by the United States government as valid, and we've traveled to over 24 countries and entered and exited the United States multiple times with this document and the original green card, and we have never had a problem. No questions asked, it works the way it's supposed to. You show the immigration officer your passport, as well as your expired green card with the official I-79 extension document, and everything is fine. However, the Delta representative in Portland informed us that Mexico won't recognize this document, and that because she is Brazilian, she must have a visa. I thought she didn't understand the I-797 form because it's not your everyday situation, and I explained to her how it works, and she again said that her system is telling her specifically that Mexico won't honor the I-797 form and that there's no way we'd be boarding the plane. We called over her supervisor and again explained to him the unique situation and that we've personally known people who have entered Mexico with this document, and he was almost going to let us board the flight. But then at the last minute, he changed his mind and he said his computer system won't allow it and that there was nothing he could do and that we were out of luck. The only thing that we could do would be to get an emergency visa at the closest Mexican consulate. So I quickly searched for the closest Mexican consulate, and luckily they had one in Portland that would be opening soon. We went straight to the consulate and figured we could state our case and get an emergency visa, as I had read online about many people getting an emergency visa the same day. We were super hopeful, and they let us in to see someone, but the look of the immigration agent quickly sucked all that hope out of this plan working. She was just one of those people who looked like they take joy in watching people suffer. And she quickly explained to us that there was no way we'd be entering Mexico as visa processing takes 7 to 8 weeks, and that there was no such thing as an emergency visa. We showed her posts where people said in other states that they received an emergency visa in the same day, but she said that she didn't care, it didn't exist, and she couldn't do anything. So we were back to ground zero. We then contacted every single person we knew to see if anyone had contacts with Mexican immigration, but after 4 hours, nothing looked promising until we received a glimmer of hope. It turned out that the wedding coordinator in Cabo happened to know someone who was an actual immigration officer at the San Jose del Cabo airport. So we sent the I-79 extension documents and a photo of Jesse's passport directly to the immigration officer in Cabo, and they said there should be no problem at all, and it's fine to use the expired green card with the I-797 letter. This was extremely frustrating to hear that the immigration officer had no problem with it, but every airline we called said they wouldn't let us fly. So we had to get creative. The only thing we could think of would be to cross the border by foot. You see, I've heard many times of people entering Mexico crossing the border in San Diego, and we even called some friends who had the same I-797 document as Jesse, and they said it worked fine crossing the border by land. So we ended up booking a very expensive $500 one-way flight to San Diego and got an Uber to the San Ysidro Transit Center, where they have a pedestrian bridge to walk across into Tijuana. We figured if we could just get into Mexico, we could then book a flight from Tijuana to Cabo. But we were extremely nervous as we didn't know if this was going to work or if this was some new policy that was recently instated. We ended up walking across the border at 11 p.m. and there was almost nobody there. And after we got through the initial gate, you're officially in Mexico and there is no turning back. They would either let us through or we'd get sent back to the United States. We walked through, put our bags on a conveyor belt for security, and they took a quick look at our passports and just waved us through. No immigration issues, no problems at all, and the immigration officers didn't even mention to us anything regarding visas or I-797 letters. It seemed that the information that all the airlines were operating from was not actually what the reality was. After passing through the initial immigration, we walked a little further down where we were officially in Tijuana. Right outside this area, they have taxis waiting for people, and we paid about $20 to take a taxi to a cheap hotel I'd booked online. The hotel was about $60 and super basic. The next day, we got a taxi to the airport and had no problems with check-in, as this was a domestic flight. We were finally on our way, and we landed in Cabo 2 hours later and had an amazing vacation. A week later, we left the country on a flight to Brazil, and again, we had no problem with immigration at all. So, while this is definitely a unique situation that most people won't have to go through, if you're someone with an I-797 form, an expired green card, and you think you're going to travel to Mexico, well, think again because it will certainly be a process. The problem is that most airlines simply won't let you fly because unfortunately the Mexican consulate online does say that they won't accept I-797 forms, even though the immigration officers never questioned us one time. So it seems your only option will be to cross the border by land. So that's it, guys. I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you got some value out of today's video or simply want to share your immigration story crossing borders, leave a like and comment below. We'll see you in the next video.